My bad, we gonna get to it.
Human error that we make costs lives. You can put one batch out and it might kill a lot of people. Backseat. My mom did the same trade for many, many years. Was introduced to it at a young age, and I just sort of followed in her footsteps. And here I am. Everything changed when fentanyl became on the market.
Keisha's a drug dealer who asked us to only use her first name.
Like we can't see her face.
Over the 20 years she's been selling, she's seen the supply change dramatically. For the last decade, both Canada and the US have been ravaged by an overdose crisis, largely fueled by the synthetic opioid, fentanyl. The pandemic made it worse by disrupting the drug supply and cutting people off from harm reduction services. But the crisis is now reaching another turning
Like
point.
a movie set.
Chemicals made in labs are infiltrating the drug supply and being combined with fentanyl to make something more dangerous. And nowhere is this more evident than in British Columbia.
You went from seeing brown substance, which was heroin, and then you're like, okay, what the is this? Because it's purple and blue and pink and all these weird colors. Okay, so I just have to wait till it settles.
Despite the shifting supply, Keisha still sells fentanyl. She mixes it with purple food coloring to differentiate it from cocaine, and she cuts it with monk fruit, an organic sweetener she says is safer than other cutting agents. Still, it's not safe. Fentanyl is up to 50 times more potent than heroin. It's been linked to at least 250,000 deaths in the US and Canada.
Wiping them out.
Risk is extremely dangerous every day. You know, anything can happen.
You got to put a bio mask on.
Smoke coming out? That's the dangerous part of it.
Just because it's so potent?
Yeah.
That's the part.
When you think about fentanyl, it's always in the abstract, and she's using like just these normal kitchen tools and food coloring. It's very like basic. Keisha cooks her fentanyl every few days in a process that takes hours. She charges $10 a bag and can sell up to 5 ounces in a day for as much as $15,000.
What I see is that people need fentanyl more than heroin, like more frequently. Like heroin, you used to be able to do a smash or, you know, do a couple points and you'd be good all day and all night. Well, people who use fent, they need it every like 3 hours.
So it just doesn't last as long.
Doesn't last as long, doesn't have legs.
Dang.
To make the fentanyl's effects last longer, other suppliers have been cutting it with ultra-potent chemicals. One, called atizolam, is from a family of sedatives called benzodiazepines.
Here we go.
This cocktail is being sold as benzo dope, a drug that's deadlier and more addictive than the sum of its parts. In January, benzos were detected in more than half of fatal overdoses. So fentanyl hits the market. It's like the worst overdose crisis we've ever seen. And now there's benzos in the fentanyl. How has it changed things?
I've never seen anything like it. I've seen people do hoots and they're like literally folded in half on the ground for hours. They're gone for. The benzos are gonna kill a lot of people. And it already has, it's already started. And everything is cut with it. Everything. It's very hard to find somebody who you can trust to get just raw fent and not cut with any benzos. Fentanyl is safe in my eyes compared to benzos and fent.
That's a shocking statement, though, for you to say that fentanyl, which has killed thousands, hundreds of thousands at this point of people, and you're saying that it's safe compared to this new dope that you're seeing.
Yeah, way more safer.
Keisha considers herself an ethical dealer because she doesn't cut benzos into her fentanyl.
Ethical dealer.
Addiction specialists have been advocating for keeping
Here we
the drug
go.
supply safe for years. They point
Safe
to countries
drugs.
like Switzerland, which created a prescription heroin program to help curb overdose deaths. And in the last few years, a handful of clinics
Okay,
in
pause.
British
This is
Columbia-
the stuff I be talking about. Remember before I had the short video before this video when I said about the crack epidemic, about when it was us. It was okay when it was us, but it's a problem when they high on their drugs because people are dying in masses. Yeah, it's some people in there like, our people in there, but it's way, way, way more other nations dropping dead off the opioid epidemic. Our people were halfway wiped out by the crack epidemic, and that epidemic is still going on to this very day with our people. The effects of that it had on our people is still going on. So that's that on the crack epidemic. Now that the curse is switching over to other nations, and now they getting strung out on way more hardcore drugs. Because remember, other nations can take hardcore drugs. When I was growing up, you would see certain other nations of people high on real drugs like heroin, needles and stuff be stuck in their arm. All the movies we would watch, you would see them high off cocaine, crashing cars, doing all kinds of stuff. Our people was hooked on crack and alcohol, tobacco. They always been on hardcore drugs, but now, remember they would take acid. Shrooms. Back in high school, kids was popping acid and doing shrooms. This is a whole nother level of drugs. This is real drugs. This up there, heroin is a real hardcore drug. Like, this ain't no weed. This ain't no, I don't know, but this that shit. This that shit. And they dying off of it, and that's a problem. So they have to help people addicted. I'm sorry, I'm sick. To opioids and fentanyl. Where was the help at with our people when they was addicted to crack? And parents was not in the homes and crack babies was being born. And things of that nature. Where was the help for us? But now they being handled with kid gloves, and it's okay. Oh, we got to take pity on these people. They're addicts. They need help. This is dope heads. They killing themselves, shooting poison in their veins. They want to die. They don't care. They drop it like flies. This drug is eating away at their flesh. They night of the living dead walking around this mug, and you talking about saving them. For what? They have Skeletor. Half rotted out. This one man fingers you gonna see is falling off his damn hand. He don't need no help. He like, oh, that's another one. Okay.
Have taken Safe Supply a step further, prescribing medical grade fentanyl for people severely addicted to opioids.
Oh my gosh. Medical, did you hear that? They just said they about to create medical grade fentanyl for people heavily addicted to opioids. Where was the medical grade crack? Where was that at? Y'all make it okay for people to do wicked and sin and dope. It's okay when they do it. And it's a problem when they numbers start declining. Whatever you do to me, gonna bounce off to me and stick to you 10 times like glue, Esau. You for you and yours. Just a kiss of death to you and yours. Because when you try to come for me and mine, you better look out for you, and you better dig a grave for you and yours.
Hard to access. So Keisha says her customers and friends rely on her for benzo-free fentanyl.
So those are all marked? Yeah. And then what are these, half grams? Yeah. Okay. Well, tell them to...
Look at him on TV selling dope.
Well, looking at it, you wouldn't be able to know that there was benzos in here or not.
Look at the difference, y'all.
Colors, but there's no way that you could tell that you have benzos.
Ain't nobody saying, oh, it's not fair. All of it's bad.
People would mark
But it's just, it's okay when they do it. When they do it wrong, it's okay.
Good, or the green stuff is good. Problem with that.
They got fentanyl shirts on.
Good on the street, and then they would.
It's crazy.
They want the shit. If somebody overdosed on it, they want it.
They want it, and
It just keeps getting stronger and stronger because of the benzos. Now, guys, if you give them dope without benzos in it, you don't even get them sick.
No, yeah.
So it's no good. They can smoke that shit all day. Once you get the benzos in it, and they love it. But it makes them forget everything.
Yeah.
It just gives them like amnesia. Nobody remembers where they put their dope. Everybody loses everything. Everybody gets robbed. It's good for people that sell dope, though. They always got to come back.
Okay, and then these are. Okay.
If you give me just 89 seconds, I'm going to show you this $1 million skill that they were scared to teach you in school, and how you can use it to get.
Keisha's house is a place for her customers to come and go, using her drugs there. She has naloxone on hand and says she's used it to reverse hundreds of overdoses. She lets people stay there. Some of them are trying to wean off benzodope.
She got a whole crack
And
house.
she's picked people up off the street who look like they need help.
Do they look like they need help? They having a good time.
This young girl, and she's like 19. She was outside of a hotel at night, freezing cold. They brought her in, and she's hooked on benzodope.
So why she didn't go to a hospital?
Some of Keisha's fentanyl instead.
Instead of coming to a crack
really
house.
Freaked out.
You see what I'm saying?
She just keeps shaking, and she's just really tricky. She's talking to herself a lot.
I'm sorry, I'm sick, y'all.
Scared. Everyone Keisha offers to help gets off benzodope.
But I need you to see this. This is crazy.
Do you have any of the gray stuff on you?
The pink stuff is what I was.
Needles laying around. This is crazy. This is America, though.
One of her friends, Gord, is dependent on benzodope.
Okay, so Gore want to OD. Who cares about that? He want to kill himself. Let him. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him.
Gordo.
Look at him. About to die. I wouldn't try to save his ass. Gore to be dead. He be in the morgue.
Just becoming like.
Y'all seeing this? This is America.
Feeling today.
Pretty tired from yesterday.
This is America, y'all. Look at America. Look how I move.
There's a generation of young drug users who only know the new reality of a supply with potent synthetic drugs. There's been a jump in teen overdose deaths,
Look at that.
both in British Columbia and in the U.S.
My ex was so addicted to benzos, I constantly
Look at
had to
them.
smoke it, and I'm trying to
Cracked
get
out. Doped out.
I am addicted to the nod, and it just I'm trying really hard to get over it.
Trank.
When did you?
Let's get to the
I had
trank.
a lot of pain and trauma.
Oh, shut up.
And I just want to make difference.
Let's get to it.
When's the last time you saw Carrie?
No normal Christmas, there's no normal family dinners, there's no normal Thanksgiving. You can't bring any of them into the house because they take. And I understand it's a survival mode. It doesn't make it right.
Have you noticed a difference in how Carrie's been in the last couple years since she started using benzodope?
I see weight loss to the point of serious concern. I recognize her physically, but there's no emotion that I recognize. That's not my child anymore. I
Damon
don't
got
know
her.
if any of my 3 kids have died in the last 20 minutes. That's reality. I don't. I know they have not died 24 hours ago because the police have not phoned me to identify a body. But that thought goes through my mind every day for all 3 of my kids.
And what is that like for you as a dad?
Kills you. The biggest fear is the death. Her elder sister, between 8 and 12 times I've gone to the Abbotsford Hospital for overdose. And when you look at your child and 0 response, you wonder if the next time you're looking at her is to identify her.
So we have spent some time with
This is
dealers,
sad.
you know, around Abbotsford.
But it is they, and now it's going.
who
Now
are
it's they
selling
curse.
A version of fentanyl that they say is not as toxic as the benzodope and some of these newer drugs that
Let's
are
go.
kind of hitting the market now. What do you make of that?
They can try and justify that they're selling a better dope, a cleaner dope. Death is still death.
Death is death.
Fentanyl has killed, has taken lives. Every person that sells fentanyl should be charged with murder. Somebody has died because of what they have sold. They're justifying in their own mind why they're doing what they're doing. But at the end of the day, they're still dealing death.
Yep.
They're still ripping families apart, and they're still burying people.
And y'all gonna continue to live that out. You have to. Sad to watch. It was sad to watch happen to my people though, and still happen to mine. You know. But even Steven's about to get played out around this mug. I got a funny feeling that even Stevens is gonna get played out around the world.
Drugs mixed with fentanyl aren't the only thing making this latest wave of the overdose crisis so deadly. Black market chemists are creating designer drugs in labs.
Designer drugs, remember?
To mimic the effects of traditional drugs while stopping just short of breaking the law. Data exclusively shared with Vice News shows powerful substances showing up in the U.S.'s illegal supply.
Wow.
A new stimulant that can kill you is being sold as Molly and ecstasy in 9 U.S. states. A synthetic cannabinoid that can put you in a coma or kill you has been found in 13 states. And a synthetic opioid, 20 times stronger than fentanyl, is being sold as dope in 20 states.
So early on, the opioid crisis was linked to prescription opioid tablets that then sort of evolved into the heroin period. That heroin period then evolved into what was considered the third wave or the fentanyl wave. I think it's very clear now that we've entered this polydrug wave when you have fentanyl being mixed with other stimulants or benzodiazepines or other drugs.
These new drugs are all being tracked and monitored by Alex Krotulski, a forensic toxicologist at NPS Discovery. Over the past 4 years, his program has identified over 100 new drugs in the U.S., more than 30 in the last 12 months.
Crazy. More than 30 new drugs.
When the DEA generally schedules a drug or a class, it does go away. However, that opens a door for a new drug to take its place.
I've heard this sort of race to keep track of all these different drugs described as a game of whack-a-mole where new ones just keep popping up. Is that an assessment you would agree with?
Synthetic drugs, it does feel like a bit of a game of whack-a-mole. So we generally understand that they may go away, but it's really hard to predict the next thing that's going to come.
To find the new synthetic drugs, Alex and his team get street samples from medical examiners, coroners' offices, crime labs, and other public agencies.
So these are heroin packets that were sent to us. Knowing that it's from Philadelphia and knowing our history, I would assume that it has fentanyl and xylazine.
Xylazine is a tranquilizer most commonly used on horses, but it's now being used to make the effects of fentanyl last longer.
Wow.
Like benzos, it knocks out users for hours at a time and doesn't respond to naloxone.
All right, pause. I've been told y'all, I had a video that I was about to drop where people out here puffing horse tranquilizers, aka tranquilizer. So that's what trank is. It's horse tranquilizers. You cut it with fentanyl. It's being cut. They're using horse tranquilizers to cut dope. Come on, man. Come on, man. This place finished, man. Everybody knocked out, cold, knocked out, dead, high at the Cuda Brown. Either trying to eat your face because they own bath salts, Flocka, Molly water. Rick Ross then poisoned somebody, took her home and enjoyed that off Molly water, champagne. Everybody is high on drugs, crack, heroin, everything, ecstasy. This is crazy. Okay.
It's identifying it in the supply all the more important for scientists like Krotulski.
Each drug has their sort of own fingerprint associated with it. So it will pair up the chemical fingerprint of the drugs in our sample with a chemical
blah, blah, blah.
Uncommon for us to see. We do see very, very large amounts of xylazine compared to fentanyl.
Xylazine has been detected in at least 10 states, but is most prevalent in Pennsylvania, where in 2020, it was found in a quarter of all of Philadelphia's fatal overdoses, a 19% jump from 2019.
Dang.
Why do you think xylazine has infiltrated the fentanyl supply in Philly to this degree?
I wish I had an answer. I think that's sort of, in some parts, the $1 million question right now.
You want to know why it did? Because that's where it was pushed to mostly. A lot of black people in Philadelphia. It's a lot of black and brown people in Philadelphia. But they didn't realize it was a lot of white people in Philadelphia. They didn't realize that like to get high for real. Like high to the brink of death. Usually I don't think black people like to get high to the brink of death. At some point they want to come down and eat some chicken. You know, drink a beer or whatever. And then go back, and then I've seen crackheads do that. Like, you know, I'm about to go, you know, smoke toot up. I'm from the city, so I've seen everything. So they'd come down from their crack high, get some food, sleep that shit off, you know, be cool for a second with the family, and then go back out in the streets and get some crack. But with this, no. This that other shit. This that demon. This that thayao. You ain't, it look like ain't no coming down from your high. You come down from this high, you might die. You might die getting high, and you might die not being high off this shit. Let's keep it going.
And extremely surprising to me how long xylazine stayed around and how ubiquitous it now is in the Philadelphia opioid supply.
Okay.
Is this mystic's chilling prophecy about to come true?
This is crazy.
She's known as the
Look at
the
him.
neighborhood's commonly called an open-air drug market.
Look at it.
Because people buy, sell, and use drugs like Trey right on the street.
Open air.
We have 8 tables today.